Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are finally continuing with my top 3 Pokemon of every single type videos, and today's video is about the Steel type Pokemon. And if you haven't seen the other typing so far, please go to my channel and look for the new playlist what I created just today, which makes my channel slightly more professional looking. Slightly more, but it's always good to have those playlists that are easier to find. As well, we are now hitting our number 14 of the 18 types. So this series is almost done, so I might start thinking of another type of series to do. And speaking of series, I do have a slight sad news that this weekend will not have a Journey for Kanto recap. Because of unfortunate circumstances, our GM could not make the game yesterday, so we have no session to recap. But don't worry, I do think I have a good other video to replace this weekend's recap video with a new series that will start. And that will be me playing a Nuzlocke through Brilliant Diamond. And I will have that starting tomorrow morning. So since we're not getting a recap, we're getting a start of a brand new playthrough for Pokemon where I will do my first Nuzlocke run as a YouTuber with Brilliant Diamond. But that's all the announcements, so let's go into the list, shall we? And let's start with number 3, which is the Galarian Meowth. Now, you figure I should have done Berserker, but of the two cats, I actually like Galarian Meowth better off Galarian Meowth and Berserker. Just like it's aesthetic mostly for me, but like I love Galarian Meowth just off the backstory and how it sailed through rough water with rough people, and thanks to the journey gets like hardened and now have become a Steel type. And you also love the beard as well on Galarian Meowth. And as well, I think it's MVTV that did this said it the first, but like, yeah, it's always like cool just imagine this cat Pokemon just living its life with the Vikings. And I connecting Galarian Meowth to Viking travels and raids kind of makes sense for this kind of Meowth actually, and I kind of like it. So it did pop up a bit for me in my head when I first saw it. I was like, wow, of all the Meowth out there, it looks cool. And then with the lore of Galarian Meowth, it was, oh yeah, if I have, every time I get it, I need to name it a Viking name. Yeah, I'm a nerd, so if I get a connection between other lores or nerd stuff, I will have the Pokemon nickname after that specific lore or anime. So yeah, most of my Galarian Meowth are Ragnar, Bjornside, stuff like that. And then we have our number 2, which is Lucario. Yes, Lucario is number 2 on this list, not number 1. There are one I think is cooler. But you all know my feelings about Lucario since the fighting video. It's a really cool dog type Pokemon. I love it with the aura and senses and again, having a Pokemon connecting me to another series, in this case being Dragon Ball, thanks to Aurasville, almost looks like Lucario is doing Kamehameha. And now when it's shiny it turns yellow. It's technically, if you have a regular Lucario and a shiny Lucario on your team, and then switch those out with either a move or just choosing to switch, instead of nicknaming the two different, have the same nickname and just go, "It's time to go Super Saiyan!" And so, yeah, and as of that reason, all my Lucarias nowadays are always nicknamed Vegeta unless I'm going with a special theme with the nicknames for a playthrough I've done many times before or doing now when I come up with a new challenge. For instance, like my challenge right now with the Pokemon Sword, where I can only use the wrong type in the gym, that might have been a reason I would not choose Vegeta as a nickname on Lucario if I decided to follow a certain, anime lineup or just out of game in general, then I would nickname Lucario after that. But otherwise, if I use a regular playthrough, a regular Nuzlocke or whatever, I will always have Lucario named Vegeta, since Vegeta is my favorite character in Dragon Ball. And that's number 2. And now we go down or up, depending on how you look this list will go. But here we are at number 1 of the Steel type Pokemon around. I will have to say my absolute favorite Steel type Pokemon is Corviknight. Now, many of you out there that's fans of Pokemon also loves Corviknight because it's a badass looking Steel type flying Pokemon, which just not only are we having our second Steel flying type, we actually have, I would say, the better flying Steel type. Like, Skarmory is a good Pokemon, don't get me wrong, and for first time doing a Steel flying type, it was okay. It is a tank, mostly a very good defense Pokemon, but it didn't stand out that much, at least not to me. For me, Skarmory is a decent Pokemon, good to have on a Nuzlocke or when you need something that can tank hits. But when it comes to pure aura, as we speaking of, and just the impact a Pokemon has when it gets introduced, Corviknight had an extremely good presence. Not only is one of Hop's favorite Pokemon to use, I think that his Pokemon actually can Gigantamax, but also like being that cool, and also with this line having Rookidee be the first normal Pokemon that is a pure flying type. Maybe we already love the line already, but having this cool of a crow raven Pokemon that you can actually use as a taxi fly in Galar, but not in Paldea thanks to Tinkaton. But it really stood out. Not many early route Pokemon has ever stood out as much as Rookidee's entire line, especially Rookidee and Corviknight. Corvisquire, not so much, he's a regular crow. But the first stage and the final stage of this line has stood out so much when they were introduced. But for 2 different reasons. First reason, Rookidee. First normal Pokemon that's a pure flying type. And Corviknight, this extremely intimidating, very good statted Pokemon that is supposed to be the early route bird Pokemon, which normally is decent to not good in game. Now we have this. I think the only early bird Pokemon has ever had close of an outburst of lightness when it was introduced was the Talonflame line. I don't know. That's what this thing is for me, at least. The Talonflame line was definitely also stood out, but none else has stood out, and no one has come close to standing out as much as Corviknight's entire line. So yeah, I truly love Corviknight, and if I ever do like one single type Nuzlocke, I might go with a flying or steel type and go back at least to a place where you can find these Pokemon and have that as my starter. It would be best with a sword or a shield version, or I can do this in Scarlet and Violet. But yeah, Corviknight is #1 steel type. And that has been this list, everybody, and thank you for watching so far. And I hope you liked this video, and please, if you do, hit the like button. I do love the likes and I do love the views. And until next time, guys, have a good Saturday and bye.